Well, my baby, she done left me alone. Said I was a no good and head out on the road. She ain't gonna see me cry, ain't gonna see me shed no tear, mama, no. Why would I cry? I got 6 more waiting on that telephone. That operator praises me, he praises my name. He's been working overtime since you went away. He's got kids to feed, his bills to do, and thanks to you, he's getting that union pay. Brother, I'm working too, a full-time job, I'm bailing this hay.
What is going on? What is up? Welcome. We have a very interesting night, a very interesting guest. Today we have a gentleman who probably does not need much of an introduction. He's a crazy son of a bitch. His name is Rob Leines. You guys may have seen the post before. You guys have probably maybe heard his music. So I was really excited actually at first when I had talked to Rob about this podcast, and I was like, it'd be a really great idea. You've been on the road so long, you've seen everything. Like it'd be cool to do like a road tales episode. And so that's what we're doing. We're gonna do a road tales episode. So without further ado, Mr. Rob Leines. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. What's going on, dude?
Yo, man. So you're there. You've been building shit. You've been building a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, man. I bought a house. Believe it or not, in Texas.
Yeah. But like you are part touring musician and part master tradesman, like carpenter extraordinaire, bro. You post pictures of the shit that you build, and I'm like, what the hell is he building? Like, what are you building?
Just a shed, and then I'm turning into a tiny home, actually.
You're turning the shed into a tiny home?
Yeah, it's big. I don't even own enough stuff to put in the shed. So halfway through it, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to put in here?
So, what was the you just building a shed just to have shed, or you're going to put, what kind of shit are you going to put in it? You have no idea. You have to buy the shit that you're going to put in it?
No, I'm gonna make it like a little in-law suite or casita kind of deal, and Airbnb it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to be a shed, and mostly I just kind of build this shit to pass the time, because each and every day you either have to be somewhere or wake up or do something, and that's kind of your routine of having no routine, but always being somewhere different,
Yeah. I remember you telling me, I remember you asked me one time, you were like, bro, what day is it? Like you actually didn't even know what day it was because you spend so many days on the road, and like every day is like crazy, is the same, which is nuts.
Yeah.
So
well, I wake up not knowing where I am more than not knowing what day it is. But
so like for people who don't know who you are, who are going to listen to this, whether it be whatever, stream it or audio, like those that don't know you, who the hell is Rob Leines?
Man, I'm a amateur carpenter, full-time musician. I play rock and roll honky-tonk music for a living. And I get away with making a living doing the songs I wrote, which is crazy. But
speaking of songs you wrote, you have been touring this album right here. All
Oh
right.
yeah, look at that.
You've been touring the Blood, Sweat, and Tears album for a minute now.
It's blood, sweat, and beers.
But that's what I
Right.
meant. Blood, Sweat, and Beers, man. Sorry.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
you've been touring that for a minute. And like, so I'm a music snob. You already know this, and it's my,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, arguably one of my favorite albums like ever written. So
Well, I
I'm
can't wait. I can't wait till you hear the new one.
yeah, I'm stoked. So tell me about the new one, man, because I was watching some videos of you playing some stuff, and I was also watching some. You would talk to me about this album and kind of like the writing process, the recording process is crazy because tell everybody where you're recording it.
Well, I ordered. It's done. It's ready. We're packaging it up and getting it out there. But I recorded this one in Wimberley, Texas, which is kind of right in between Austin and San Antonio. Recorded at Yellow Dog Studios, and that was a really cool process because worked with some guys that I admire and some friends, and being able to stay at the studio is kind of something I've always wanted to be able to do. So you wake up and everything's set up, and you don't have to come back in. You're not on the clock, So we got off the road in end of May of last year. We went in and recorded bass drums and my scratch stuff with them. And so they did that in 3 days. And then we went immediately back on the road all of June, Mondays off only. And then came back, and then we started tracking my parts. And so it kind of was pieced together, and we finished it before, if I remember, Halloween. So we finished it before Halloween.
And,
so
it's been a minute.
There's been a minute, but it's the whole process of, politics, musical politics, getting everything in a row. And but yeah, it'll come out June 7th.
Yeah.
The last record, no one knew who the fuck I was, so I was able to tour on it for 3 years.
Pretty wild.
So go ahead.
What were you saying?
No, I'm saying, so why spend money to make a record when you can make money off your old one? But in that whole time, I was writing the whole time and piecing the next one together.
So most of that was done, like you wrote that on the road, like you were just living. I mean, you were living at times, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much in a van and was based out of Phoenix at the time. But yeah, just kind of experiences, and some of them were older songs, some of them I wrote in 30 minutes. So it's pretty, I mean, you know how that works. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And how many states have you toured in?
We haven't done Maine or Vermont or New Hampshire, Hawaii or Alaska. They're far away, dude.
Yeah. So Maine, Hawaii, and Alaska, Vermont, and New Hampshire. So 5 states. So you've done 45 states. You've played live music. I'm
pretty sure. And the only state I haven't been to is Alaska. But we'll change that.
Yeah.
So next year I want to do, as far as I know publicly, the record is 50 states in 50 days. I want to do 49 days. Because you could do 2 states in one day.
Yeah, in the Northeast you can. Like
you can do it anywhere. You could just cross the border into the next city and fucking do a day gig and then a night gig and then drive again. I mean, it'd be exhausting, but.
Dan Baker just chimed in. He said you have to go to Alaska.
I know, that's what I hear. I don't have time right now. I'm working.
This guy Brett came in. He says, "If you need a drummer, hit me up." It's like, how many drummers? There's so many drummers.
Yeah, man. What the hell?
I'm just kidding. Love
Well,
you, Brett.
yeah. Well, maybe if I come to Rockwall.
Yeah, you come to Rockwall, he'll play drums for you for sure. He's a hell of a drummer. So I'm very interested in this because you spent a considerable amount of time on the road, man. I mean, I even met like the dude from the Vandaliers and some other people. Like, dude, Rob's nuts. Like, this guy is on the road like nobody has ever been on the road, bro. And like,
No, they
dude,
didn't
it's
say
not.
that.
Yeah, well, I did say that. But let me ask you a question though. So, the van, right? Like you deck this thing out, right? So, can you tell this? Because I remember when you tried to put air conditioning in that thing, right? You were touring all through like Texas. You were touring all through like really, really hot states, and you were like installing central air in this thing.
Was that the van or was that the bus? I can't remember.
It was like a big like Mercedes kind of Sprinter.
Okay. Yeah. So well, the bus never had. I had a 2010 school bus, and we did that for a year. It never once had AC. And I'm talking, dude, you're sitting right there next to the doghouse, and the engine is just dumping that heat in your damn lap. Like, I would literally put a swimsuit on and a cold rag on my back, and you drive this thing. It was like wrestling a bear from hell, just sweating bullets. It's like driving a van through Satan's urethra is what was going on. What am I allowed to say here?
So there's four rules to this podcast.
You should have told me that.
Yeah, well, one of the rules is if you're offended, you're the problem. So
okay.
You can say whatever the fuck you want, dude. Okay. Whatever you want. Literally, you can say anything, and it's uncensored, unscripted, and I don't edit anything other than like if I have to like clip some stuff that doesn't make sense. But I don't clip anything you say. Yeah. So if you say it, it can and will be used against you.
In the court of
public opinion.
In the court in the court of law.
In the court of podcast law. This is America, man. This is America. This is last time I checked, man. It's America.
I think so.
Yeah.
We won't get into that. Anyways.
But you grew up you grew up on a river, right? Like you were like a.
Well, I grew up in Georgia. My dad was in the Navy, so we lived in California for a little while. Lived in Utah for a minute. And this was all as a kid, and then in my early teens, we went back to Georgia, and so I kind of didn't really play too many sports, but was in the rock climbing and then kayaking, and then I was a raft guide in Tennessee for 5 summers, and then went to welding school and moved back to California to work offshore. So this is just different little lives, and then music kind of came later. But
yeah. So,
but
you
yeah,
were a welder. You were a welder, and then you were writing music, and then you just kind of like were showing up to open mics, right? Wasn't that how it worked?
Yeah.
Like you were like, shit, I like playing guitar, I like playing music, right?
I wasn't even thinking it was ever going to be a thing.
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that the best time? That's the best, when you're just good at something and then people just like listening to you, and then boom, next thing you know, you're opening for Dwight. You're on tour with Dwight Yoakam now, right?
We play shows with him back in 2022. We were playing with him a good bit. Yeah. Pretty much the whole year was kind of revolved around that. And then last year we did a lot of my own stuff, and was probably why we were on the road so much. I mean, he plays a good bit, but there's gaps, there's big gaps, and I got to stay working. And so we did a little bit with him last year, and then a little bit this year. And this year has been slow to start because you essentially can't. There's the markets, you can't oversaturate the markets, and and we've been kind of waiting for this record to come out to really hit all of those. So it's about
You don't want to. You want to hit it. You want to hit it like just like you drop it. Yeah. Stephanie says, "Let life come naturally. That's the best way."
Heck yeah, Stephanie. That's what we're talking about.
That's what we are talking about.
Can you see? I can't see the comments. It's probably for the best. Jamie Foxx said, "Never read the comments, man."
Well, there's a lot in here so far. So yeah, there's I got Dan saying loves that you came from blue collar life, loves the vibe. He's a blue collar guy, loves that. He's also a Navy veteran, he loved pretty cool. I'm really interested in this whole journey because you went from literally like in the dirt welding, and then all of a sudden you have millions of streams. Millions. You just look at you. It's unbelievable. Like you're super humble, man. Like you're super humble. And I don't think people know it's like you're super humble because you're like out there and you're just like blue collar all the way. Like you live it. Like you're literally you toured around in a van. Like you fucking built like you're building basically a second house next to your house. Like you're just like
what the fuck was I thinking? I finally got the roof on and the walls up. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? But it's waterproof now, so we're in a good spot.
So what happened? Like when did that moment click where all of a sudden like you went from like, well shit, I'm doing this for fun, and now all of a sudden like I'm on the road, I'm touring, I'm in front of thousands of people?
Yeah. I don't think I could do that. I was probably in my mid to late 20s when it kind of started doing it, and I worked my ass off, man. I was playing shit bars, and I still play shit bars, but people show up to see me at least. But
those are the best ones though. Those are the best shows. It's like
but you know what I mean. I was just having a hard time, and was I'm not good at networking. I'm not gonna brown nose. I'm not gonna there's this industry is filled with people that'll just fucking jerk you off to get and people that have power say, that was too starting in LA. So I was playing everything around the city, multiple times a week. And then it just kind of happened. And then I got a big opening slot, and all of a sudden, hell yeah.
And that was with Whiskey
Myers, yeah.
Whiskey Myers.
Yeah, so I was in a pretty bad place. Like, what the hell am I doing? And then finally got like a little break, obviously, and they were really, really coming up. They're massive now, but so that was cool. That was a little bit of encouragement, and came close with them, and then COVID happened. We don't need to talk about that bullshit. That sucked for everyone, and
it's like the third COVID conversation I've had in like 2 days where somebody brought up COVID and they were like,
I'm sorry.
That bullshit happened.
Well, I'm just saying, it sucked for everyone. So I was like, screw it, man. And luckily my old job was a great job that I quit. They called me back, and I was traveling again welding for about a year and a half. And man, I didn't pick up a guitar or gave a shit. I was so bitter. I was like, I'm done with this, and then it started to come around. I'm like, oh wait, we can tour again? March 15th or whatever, it was like there was a day that the floodgates opened. So then I went right back to it, and just that, everyone's on tour.
What was your favorite? What's your favorite city? What's your favorite place to play?
Oh, I gotta be careful of that, man. There's a few. There's a place, believe it or not, out in California, in the middle of the desert. It's one of my favorite venues, Pappy and Harriet's. That's always. But we just hosted New Year's Eve there. It's a magical place. Whitewater Amphitheater, New Braunfels. That's one of my favorite places to play.
You
and that
just played
probably,
there.
yeah, I played there twice now, and that's definitely, definitely my favorite place. And they are good to the artists, even if you're opening. I mean, they just, so I became close with them. And now I go see shows if I'm not working myself. So those are two that stick out the most. But I mean, yeah, there's little places.
Did you like that festival? There's like that Jackalope Jamboree up in
Oh
Oregon.
yeah, man, that's one of my favorite festivals too. We just did it 2 years in a row, so it's kind of got to take a year off of that.
So in your travels, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
There's one in Nashville or outside of Nashville, Tennessee Motorcycle Music Revival. That's one of my favorite. You kind of build these relationships with these people, and it's just always, you just come back next year and you're like, what's up? So that's probably my favorite part of it all.
You mean the staff, like the
staff,
crew?
the people that work there, and kind of like trying to work your way up the ranks is, music is, you're always, no matter if you have a big following in such and such city, you go to a city you've never been in, you're fucking peon grunt working your way back up, and now it's finally starting to get where it's not so much like that. We don't have that noon slot. It's the slots are getting better, all that.
So kind of like the way that you and I know each other, because we got friends. You became friends with them, and my guess is you got friends in lots of different cities. Like you got places to hang out, people to visit, where it's like, I mean, do you have that like in all these different cities where you're like, all right, I'm going to Nashville, I got to see so and so. I'm going to Atlanta, I'm going to see so and so. Is that?
Yeah. I mean, that does kind of happen, and that's the coolest thing about it, and with this job, whatever differences you may have or whatever you believe in, it kind of brings people together from all walks, and then all bullshit's kind of put aside, and you go to a different city and you got friends. That's what I'm saying. Like you roll up these festivals and it's someone you met, or you roll up into a different city and it's someone that and yeah, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite parts about it all too.
I would imagine it's probably addictive. Like you get addicted to just being in different places. And
for sure, man. Like last year I came off, and it's exhausting too, but I came off probably one of the bigger touring years I've ever had, which I haven't been doing it that long, but I didn't want to be around anybody. I was like, man, I'm going to buy a fucking house in the middle of, South Texas around nobody, where you got to drive 30 minutes to get a burger. It was like this close. And then I kind of came to my senses, but
I call it your sociometer. You're like,
we all know when we hit the fucking wall. But and you don't realize you get off and everything's happening so fast. And like you wanted to do this about Tales of the Road, and I was talking to my manager. It's like it happens so fast, and you're in the next city before you can even process what the fuck just happened. So there's so much stuff that just happened, but I party. I like to drink a little bit, so that probably doesn't help it. But this.
Do you like?
But
do you like to party?
Yeah, but not even like that. But it's I'm gonna keep like a little journal, just jot things down each day that happened, so I can look back and remember. How was I feeling that day? What was I thinking about? Because it just like before you know it, it's done. And it's like, I don't get it. As Dan say.
It's probably a blur. Dan says he's wondering if once you live your passion and then it turns into a job. Like he's curious about that.
Fuck yeah, Dan. There's aspects of it's definitely a job. and so, you know, I was recently feeling that that's kind of how it was. A good dude, Tulsa, absolute wizard on guitar. He's like, send me 4 songs, come up and play this brunch thing with us. And I'm like, all right. And man, it almost brought tears in my eyes because I just wasn't, man, it really, and he reminded me that it's fun. Like, just have fun with it. Don't put too much pressure on it. Think about, and he never said anything, just by the way he played and the day he hosted. I was like, this is what I was when I started. You know, like, keep it that way. Don't put too much pressure on it. and all the egos and I deserve this and I deserve that. It's like, man, I'm a firm believer. You don't believe shit unless you work for it. And then sometimes you don't even deserve it because it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't. At the end, people like it. They like it. If they don't, they don't. And that's not anything you should be worried about. You just fucking do what you do.
Yeah. Sometimes when I hear you speak, man, I'm going to get real with you for a second, man. Sometimes when I hear you speak, you know, like I said something to you where I'm like, bro, you're like, I mean, you are like one show, one something away. Like, this is like, I can't imagine how anybody would listen to your music and not be like, dude, this has got to be played everywhere. And you said, you're like, yeah, it's kind of felt like that for a minute now, you know? And I felt that I actually resonated with me. I like internalized it. And I was like, yeah, like you could be working real fucking hard on something and have a passion for it and things outside your fucking control. You know what I'm saying? Like you've had all this success in spite of that, right? But like I look at it like, and I look at it like you should. I mean, your music to me should literally be like, it should be like in rotation, like Luke Combs, like, you know, Thomas Rhett, like Rob Leines, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like on these radio stations and all over wherever.
Who knows, dude? I got a new record coming out.
No, you will. And in spite of it, you still have millions. I mean, like millions of, I mean, it's bonkers to me to think about like if I wrote a song and millions in plurals of people streamed them or listened to them, like it's bonkers.
Well, you know,
go ahead. Sorry.
I just wouldn't really raise like that. You know, I kind of keep my head down and drive on. And, you know, it's friends like yourself that kind of have to remind you that maybe you have had some successes and some wins, some W's, you know, and I think with any business that's important, you know, like look at where you were 3 years ago or whatever, you know, it sounds cliche to say that, but
I wake up every morning and I feel like I'm like, shit, I haven't gotten enough done yet.
Yeah.
I'm just not there. I got to get there. When am I get there? You know, there's no self-actualization for driven people, I think. So, but you know, you said something before and I thought about this and I was wondering about this. Like when you say you go out, you meet all these different people on the road, you got friends in different cities. Like what's like an experience? Like, have you had any like shit happen where like everything has gone wrong? Like you're trying to set up sound, like things aren't going well and you're like trying to scramble like showtime.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I still wear a lot of hats with, you know, like sometimes I'm setting up the merch or sometimes I'm getting people on the list or, you know, I got to go for a run. There's just so much shit to where, and we drove that day or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the work isn't just the hour and a half that you do. You know, obviously, you know that, but it's all the shit leading up to it. And you could be in a bad mood and someone says something to you the wrong way, or you're just dealing with something. But then again, once you're in it, you just roll with it. And I think that comes with time and kind of experience that you can do your job for an hour and a half. The only thing you showed up to do was that hour and a half. Everything else doesn't fucking matter. So it's easy to just have tunnel vision, you know. But it took a lot of practice. It took a lot of practice because, you know, I take things where I listen to people. I you know, take to heart what people say, you know, and some I'm getting, you know, you should just get to the point where it's like, sure, thank you, or sure, fuck you. It's not going to affect my day, you know, or the job I came here to do. You know,
you ever get pissed off at like a club owner, like or like management at like a place?
Never, dude. No way. Thanks for having me. We'll see you next time.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
we'll take the check and we'll go. It's fine, dude. I've never fucking hated a sound guy or a manager ever.
That's cool. I can't say that I agree with that. By the way, I've definitely played. I played some places back in the day that I was like, dude, you know, like, and I wasn't like like you had a contract, like you're going in, like I'm like just trying to get the door, or like, you know, they said they were going to pay me like, you know, a couple $100 and they're stiffing me on it. And they're like, well, you know, I know we told you that, but I'm like, what the, you know?
Yeah. I was being very sarcastic, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
I know you can't tell when my face is like this big and we're not having a conversation in person.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next month.
We'll do this.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So Dan wants you to play an acoustic song.
I don't even own a guitar, Dan.
Yeah. Okay. So what's like I heard through the grapevine, I don't know what's what, but like what's one of the weirder things that has occurred to you? Because I hear there's some weird shit going on.
There's weird shit, man. It's really weird. And I'm fucking nobody. Like, not the most intrusive thing that continuously happens is, you know, social media is a tool, right? Which I can't fucking stand the ticky-tacky, and it's just, anyways. But people make so many fake accounts and message people that some are my friends, and they're like, yo, this dude, and it happens, I swear, 3 times a week. Like, who are these people and where do they come from? But the weirdest stuff is like when people, when it gets real personal, like they're saying that you're there and they're conning people almost, or people are conning other people saying that I'm doing something, or I'm visiting them, or just weird. Yeah, it's weird shit, dude.
So people are making fake accounts, and
but recently it's become more than that. And it's like, hey, is this true that this person said? I'm like, I've fucking been to that place once, and no, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean?
Huh. That's weird, man.
I can't really elaborate too much.
Yeah, I know you got some stuff going on. You know what's interesting? And I told you this, like someone reached out to me and it was a fake you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Rob, this isn't you. And I messaged and texted you, and you're like, no, dude, that's not me. And I was like, shit. Yeah. So now it's becoming crazy. Like people are just cloning your shit and just messaging people as if they're you. That's nuts.
And it's even gotten further than that. People doing it physically and trying to meet up with other people, and it's just unsafe. It's fucked up, man. It's like, and people
Holy
lying to other
shit.
people about, and it's like, dude, I'm just trying to build a stupid jack shack in the backyard for my friends. I just want to put a staircase up and live my fucking life out here, and it's getting crazy. And I'm fucking, like I said, dude, nobody. And it's just really bizarre that how intrusive people are even at this small stage.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
bro.
That's fucking crazy.
I mean, I could tell the story, but I just can't, because I feel like, and I just feel really violated recently.
Wow.
I can't imagine how. Well, I mean, I guess people that are really bigger, like actual bigger artists, you know, it's like, nah, it's fucking full of shit. But I'm at this weird stage, I guess, where people can do that or lie. And I don't know. It's really weird. I mean, you know me, I'm a very just simple dude. Like, I'm just trying to make a living. I'm not looking for fame. I'm not looking for any of that shit. I just want people to buy tickets to come to the show. I'd like my job to become easier. You know? It's like, I just want to sell tickets. I want to take less off my plate and be able to pay other people to do things.
Do you know where I could get a really cool, like, custom made cabinetry, like cabinet thing that I could put in my van, and like a bed that I could put in like a van? Do you know where I could get something like that? Like custom made though. Like I'm talking like cabinets and everything, like inside of a van. Like I can maybe tour around in that shit.
Yeah, dude, I know a guy.
Oh man. So what's the freaking, let me ask you this, what's the funniest shit that's ever happened to you on the road? Like what's just like one story where you're like, bro, this is like, this shit, I can't even believe it happened.
I mean, driving all our way around the country and then getting to the gig and it being canceled.
How far did you drive?
Like rolling into the parking lot.
How far did you drive?
I mean, we started in LA and it was here in Texas.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, well, I guess we'll fucking turn around now. Because after that, we had a couple weeks off. So it was that was shitty. Well, when you tour Boston, if you go to Nantucket, don't drink at the bar until the last ferry leaves. So we flew into Boston. We did Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard. Is that correct? Yeah, Martha's Vineyard. We did some little festival, and then we did Nantucket to end it. And we did Boston proper. And my buddy he's the bar manager at this place. It's called the Chicken Shack. You ever been there on Nantucket?
No.
It's cool. It's really cool. And we were just kind of at the end, and we had to take a flight back to, where the fuck were we? I want to say Oklahoma. Yeah, so we had to take a flight, a red eye, back to Oklahoma to finish like that. It was intense. We flew a red eye in, played 5 shows in 4 days, then had to take a red eye out back to Oklahoma to make it to Nebraska like the following day.
Just named like 5 states in 3 seconds.
I know.
We flew to fucking Boston. We got on a boat. We went to Martha's Vineyard, then Nantucket, and circled back to Oklahoma and then Nebraska just came out of nowhere.
This is all in 6 days.
My God.
Then so we're at the Chicken Shack with my buddy, and we're like, yeah, we got one more. We'll miss it. The Uber driver took us to the wrong boat dock. So we're looking across the pier or whatever the fuck, the little thing, you know, they got up there, the thing. So at the boat dock where it launches.
Yeah.
And then we're looking across the peninsula at our boat actually leaving. So they're honking the horn. We're like, shit, that's not us. We're running with guitars and cymbals, and we get there and they're just like, see ya. Like, man, yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, I could jump on that right now. They're like, nope. So we missed our flight, had to get another flight.
So you missed your boat, you missed your flight, and what did you do? You got a hotel room?
We crashed for a few hours with my buddy. Took the first ferry back, but then the ferry ends in Cape Cod, which, you familiar with the area, that's another hour to the Boston airport, or maybe
you got to
more
drive.
than that.
It depends where in Cape Cod. It could be 2 hours. Yeah.
So then we took that, barely caught a noon flight or something crazy. Got to Oklahoma. Instead of staying a night to get to the gig in Nebraska, we had to drive that day to get there.
Wow.
Just dumb shit.
So out of all so you played with a bunch of celebrities, you met a bunch of high level guys. Who's like the coolest dude? Who's like the coolest dude, girl, woman, whoever? Who's the coolest person you've played with on, one of these tours or you've met in your travels?
Man, Brent Cobb was really cool. He didn't know me at all. We're both from Georgia, and we played a festival, and I had torn my bicep tendon. And so I had surgery maybe 5 weeks before that. And so 3 weeks into that healing process, I mean, I have like a Terminator arm, like this thing I don't know if you can see my arm. Oh, there we go.
Is it the tatted one, or that's the tatted one?
It's the tatted one. So it's my fretting hand.
Yeah.
So I couldn't move my arm, but like this. It was on a thing, and each week you twisted the deal, and you could go another 10 degrees and whatever. That was part of the rehab, right?
Wow.
So three weeks into the healing process, Dwight's like, can you do these dates? So I went on tour 3 weeks after that, and then did a festival in Kansas City. And Brent came up to me. He's like, man, Cody told me about everything. It's like, that's fucking awesome. And like knew all about it. It was just the most down to earth, cool person.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him since. So
what's do you know the largest crowd that you've played in front of? You know how big it was?
It's like 5,500 or 6, I would say. I'm guessing
6,000 people. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know where the crowd ended. If the hotel wasn't there, it was in Vegas. Like if the hotel wasn't there, I wouldn't have known where it ended, if that makes sense. So like I knew the hotel was there, but I saw people nuts to butts all the way there.
Nuts to butts. Brian says, what's up?
What's up, Brian?
What's going on, Brian? So I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll try to make it long so this way you can think about this. So this is the same. I ask this question on every single episode, and it's the most. So part of Angela says nuts to butts. She thinks that's hilarious, by the way.
Nuts to butts. Yeah. Things are close.
Never heard.
That's why it was funny.
Yeah. So part of the reason for this whole podcast is like, and most of the people here, they sell something or they were sold something, and obviously you're selling music, man, which is pretty cool. And I asked this question because in our travels, in our experiences, man, look, I spent like, a decade, like, in front of people, and some of these experiences live with me, live inside. They've shaped the human being that I am. They're people that I've met over the years. Some are my customers, some were not my customers, some were just weird experiences. So I asked this of everybody, and it's like, look, if you could say, if there's a single experience, a single call, a single show, a single person that you met at a show that has, or in your travels, music could be anybody, that you have internalized, that has shaped you as a human, and that experience lives with you, what would it be?
One that stands out the most would it's 2020. I think it was end of February, and we were in Kentucky. And I think it was Kentucky. Yeah, whatever. That doesn't matter. And this gal, and it was pretty full. It was cool. And this gal, I just noticed her for some reason. She was like with her family. And she's like messing with her ears, right? And, I say dumb stuff, like I'm much funnier on stage, self-proclaimed as I am here, right?
Yeah.
I'm hilarious.
Yeah, you are.
No. But she
was that when you took this picture right here?
Yeah, we're gonna do an updated one.
Yeah.
Where I don't look like a Subaru driver.
I gig in this shirt, by the way, all the time. It's my favorite.
I know, I see it. I love that.
Yeah.
We gotta get you a new one. So we're in Kentucky. This gal's fidgeting with her ears, whatever, and I say something stupid like, "Ma'am, I know we're loud," because we're pretty loud. I said, "Ma'am, I know we're loud. Don't worry, we're almost done." And it got real quiet. And she turns to me and she says, kind of with a lisp almost, she's like, "I've been deaf my entire life. You're the first band I've ever heard. I just got my ear implants put in yesterday. So you're the first band I've ever heard." And like, dude, I almost lost it. It was such a powerful moment, and everyone just like started cheering for her. And I'm like, the only dumbass thing I could think of to say was, "Well, ma'am, you're in luck because there's a lot better music than mine." I was like, "Yeah, you're in for it down the road." Have I told you this story? No.
One night you mentioned something about this story, but I wasn't. Yeah, but that's.
It was powerful. And so we got off, and her whole, her husband and her kid, I think, was probably in college in the town or whatever. They all came up and thanked me and hugged me. I'm like, that was powerful. So that's one that always stands out to me. It's like, all right, and you get the people because, I mostly write music to get off my chest of something maybe I don't know how to say in a conversation, right? And I'm getting better about, opening up, right? And the thing that really sticks with you the most is like, man, this song saved me. I was in a really, really dark place, and all the you were a rowdy show, supposed to be fun, supposed to be, something like everyone just comes as shit to party. But when someone says something like that, you're like, okay, there's something bigger going on. And, you kind of have a responsibility to do that, and the songs that you write don't always have to be about drinking and rambling and women from your past, that's surface level shit. So I think this new record is quite a bit more vulnerable and what kind of some of the things I was going through. And I hope it just, kind of helps people. Or affects people in a certain way.
Tell me about that. So talk about the new album. What's obviously give it the dates when it's out, everything. But I really, honestly, bro, I think people want to hear like what was your inspiration? Where'd it come from? I mean, is this all just road travels? Is this a diary? What's going on?
Yeah, a lot of it's road travels. I mean, that's kind of what I do, and moving forward, I'll try to stay away from those as much, Shut Up, Cassie. I don't even. I've never met Cassie.
Cassandra Jones, whoever that is, says I would say his most impactful moment was meeting the Joneses.
The crazy story was meeting them, and then that's how we met.
Yeah,
Stagecoach.
that's cool. So yeah,
Um,
so the new album. I'm really stoked about this. I'm supposed to get a signed album like this that's gonna match this one right here.
Of course.
Right? I'm gonna get. All right. So tell us about it. When's it coming out? Tell what's it about? What's different? What's cool? Just plug yourself, man.
Man, the first single's coming out on the 10th, May 10th, and a song called Double Wide. It's a fun song to play. It's a lot of this stuff is a little swampier, a little groovier, not slowed down. It still has the intensity, but definitely and it touches back on, just because, you're not entitled to anything you don't work for. You know what I mean? And it's kind of talking shit about the people that kind of had overnight stuff because of social media platforms I won't name. But it's about working hard and seeing results. So that comes out May 10th, and then the full length comes out June 7th, and I think by that time we'll be in Seattle. So
just a single comes out on
May. Yep, and then and it's cool because that'll be the radio single, and we had to tweak it, make it shorter, and take out the cuss words. So then when I release it on the album, it's almost going to be a different song.
Interesting. And by radio, this thing's going to get played. This thing's going to be all over the place.
We're doing a radio campaign for it, so we'll see.
Very cool.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, then June 7th. It's about travels. It's about inner demons. It's about, kind of figuring out life. And I think that will resonate with people better than the surface layer stuff. And did it with a very cool, well, who knows? Surface layer shit, man, that's popping off right now. So
yeah. It gets you fired up. I know because and we've had conversation, but it's really odd that the world we live in, so I follow this woman who is has the most incredible voice. Like I'm talking like Celine Dion type voice. Like this woman she's just so talented. I follow her. Does she have like a gazillion followers? No. Right, like she's pretty popular, right? Like, and but I listen to her and I'm like, how in the world is this not what human beings are listening to right now?
It's weird, man.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder back in the day too if things went viral. Maybe it had all to do with the radio, which the radio is very different now. But now you got people that have a 30-second attention span going to the next, and you never really know what's going to hit, and I never really wrote a song to be a hit, right? You just write a song to write a song, I think. And the fan base that you have, or the people that support you, they're the longevity of that. There's longevity in that.
I think people long for more meaningful music, or music that speaks to them more. I think they do.
Yeah, I think I like it both. I like fun stuff. It's catchy, right? And the problem is I don't know what the fuck's going on out there. I'm not hip on anything. I don't really pay attention to it at all.
Yeah. But that's what makes you pretty unique, is because you don't really, yeah, you're just in your own little sort of world. And maybe that's like your thing. I listened to this, I listened to this podcast. It was about Rick Rubin, right? Obviously, you know who Rick Rubin is.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Johnny Cash. And at the time that they wrote that album, the one that had Hurt on it, Johnny Cash's career was in the toilet. And Rick Rubin had said that he went to Johnny Cash and he was like, Johnny, do you want to be remembered and known sort of as like, you know, this fledgling artist who's like trying to, you know, just fill like little rooms at this point in time? Like, you're an icon, right? You're an icon. And he said, or do you want to be the black man of mystery, right? The man of mystery in the jacket.
Yeah.
And they wrote that album and revived his career at that time.
Yeah, that was pretty much towards the end of his life too.
That was it. But that was
Yeah.
his. But the point was that the Rick Rubin sort of created this like persona that already existed within Johnny Cash. It was just a matter of getting that message across to the people that would listen, and millions and millions and millions of people did.
Yeah.
And I think that I look at country and Southern rock and all, it's huge. I mean, look at how huge some of this stuff is. Like, would you ever think like a guy like 20 years ago, a guy like Tyler Childress or Parker McCollum or any of these guys would be popular? No, I mean, I would have never put them in a category like that.
Right.
But yet here we are. And I think that there is a market and there is a desire of people to, you know, want to listen to meaningful, cool, fun, you know, like sort of Southern rock, country, whatever you want to say.
Right.
So
Totally.
yeah.
I mean, people must have been wanting that, you know, instead of the radio plays, and you know, you got to applaud those guys because in a way they revived it and whatever. And so now it's like, well, that kind of thing hit, and then there's a lot of people that followed into that category, and you hear it and you're like, oh, well, this song's great, you know, but that really does remind me of such and such. And I think that's kind of the problem we're having now. So it's like outlaw country, right? Or country music's as big as it's probably ever been. I mean, I don't see it getting any bigger. So I've never really been a country artist, you know. I just wear a hat.
Isn't that weird?
I just wear a cowboy hat and play rock and roll.
You play rock and roll, yeah. There's like a twang in some of the songs, but it's not really. Yeah,
It keeps the sun off my cheeks.
I love it, man. So as we wind down, man, anything on your mind? Anything you want to get off your chest? Confess?
Definitely not here.
Yeah.
I'll go to a church for that. No, I'm just kidding. No,
For sure,
man,
man.
I appreciate you having me. That was fun. We'll hope to see more people out there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So for you guys, go ahead.
How far does this reach?
It's on the interwebs, man. It goes.
How far does the interwebs reach? As far as it goes.
It goes anywhere. It goes
Full
everywhere.
circle. Yeah.
It goes everywhere. Let me give you an idea. So I've had weeks where I've had like literally an engagement of like 30 or 40 like 1,000 people. So
Wow.
it's been, yeah, dude, I started this thing like 12 weeks ago, like 13 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah. And like, so like, and I don't even want to, dude, and I'm like, kind of like you, I didn't want to do a live stream. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do like a recording, like with like video and stuff like that. I just wanted to record cool stories and then like post them on podcasts. And then like, I started talking to people and they're like, no, man, people really like to like look at people's faces when they talk, and they like to look at the videos, and it's just a way to do it. It's just a way to deliver the message. But the whole purpose of this was because, I'm a part of like all these like business building sort of, in this business building world. And I wanted to get people's stories, man. I just wanted to talk to people. I wanted to get their experiences. Like, you sharing your experiences on the road and just like fucking sleeping in vans and whatever. Like, this is the kind of shit I think people want to hear, right? They're just like real stuff. But you've lived a weird life, man. I mean, you're like a 1 in a trillion. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. I appreciate that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
no, it's awesome, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. And guys, go out. What's the name of the album again? It's Double Wide?
Well, no, Double Wide's a single. The album's called Head Case.
Shit, bro.
Gets a little weird.
You want to talk about an appropriate name for an album from Rob Leines? Hell yeah.
He's a fucking head case, dude.
You are a fucking head case, dude.
Probably a headache.
Definitely.
It depends on who you talk to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So go out there, stream, buy it, get the album, and go out to a show. And Rob tours basically everywhere you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And Angela says we all relate. We can all relate.
See, that's the idea, Angela. Shit. Oh, and for anyone that wants to tune in on social media, I'm teaming up with Harley Davidson Footwear. We're doing a giveaway. All you got to do is the post. It's about. I'm giving away 3 pairs of brand new Harley boots, and you get to pick them. So all you got to do is like, share, and comment, and you and 2 buddies can get a pair.
And you're posting this on which platform?
On Instagram and Facebook. So.
Okay. So Instagram and Facebook, and they can win. What do? You're going to post it soon, and it'll go up there, and then.
Yeah, I'll post it. All the instructions will be in there. Something that just came up recently. I've kind of been working with them a little bit. So, all
right. So you got Harley Davidson as your sponsor. So it's at Rob Leines, ROBLEINES, Rob Leines Music. Awesome, dude. Thank you for this so much.
Brother. Thank you, man.
No doubt. We will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. You're going to be in town, right?
Next weekend?
No. Oh, you're going to see the people here next weekend.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Dude, I don't know how this. All right, we'll talk later. later, internet.
Goodbye, interwebs.